Kopi Vosian and hello to all today. How are you? Okay, today we are going to learn about proper ethical and legal foundation that we should apply in agribusiness. Agribusiness is one of the business that is a money-making project in many countries, including our own country, Malaysia, and also developed at some other developed countries. So when we talk about agribusiness, the next thing that come into our mind is that business or this business can give us raining money. And if this business is conducted successfully, I'm sure it can bring return of investment, or in short, we call it ROI, to investors and also entrepreneurs. Agribusiness is one of the business that is a money-making project in many countries, including our own country, Malaysia, and also developed at some other developed countries. So when we talk about agribusiness, the next thing that come into our mind is that business or this business can give us raining money. And if this business is conducted successfully, I'm sure it can bring return of investment, or in short, we call it ROI, to investors and also entrepreneurs. However, agribusiness entrepreneurs need to be careful when it comes to business. Beyond the investment and high profit that businesses usually aim for, it is very important or very crucial to understand ethics. According to Porter Stewart, ethics is knowing the difference between what you have a right to do and what is right to do. Therefore, we shall explore in this chapter why ethics is very important in sustaining a good agribusiness. In this chapter, we shall 1. Describe the characteristic of strong ethical culture in agribusiness. Secondly, we are going to explain the importance of leading by example in terms of establishing a strong ethical culture in a firm. Third, I will be explaining the importance of having a code of conduct and an ethics training program in an organization. And fourth, I will explain the criteria important to selecting an attorney for a new firm. There are 5 objectives which we are going to learn in this chapter. Objective number 1, we're going to learn the characteristics of strong ethical culture in agribusiness. Second, we are going to understand the importance of leading by example by entrepreneurs in terms of establishing a strong ethical culture in an organization. Third, we are going to learn the importance of having a code of conduct and an ethics training program in an organization. Fourth, this chapter is going to explain to us the criteria that are important in selecting suitable attorney for any new firm. And the last objective of this chapter is strategies to avoid legal disputes. An agribusiness entrepreneur is expected to be dynamic, and also he or she should be able to lead by example. Let me give you an example of an aquaculturist. Maybe some of us do not understand what is the meaning of aquaculture or aquaculturist. Aquaculture is a very expensive investment whereby it is a venture that involves fish culture. This venture also involves preparation of land, acquisition, facilities like electricity, road, water supply, and some others. Also, it is important to obtain human resource and whatever relevant requirements for the new venture. So once the aquaculture business runs or starts to run, live fish needs to be reared, they need to be fed, and The aquaculturists need to ensure that these live products, I'm talking about live fish here, can survive until the fish reach marketable size. At times, fish will get sick, and when they do, what do entrepreneurs do? Do they treat this sick fish with antibiotic, or they simply discard this sick fish? As a leader, the entrepreneur must know the ethics of fish rearing and by right should not use any illegal medicine to treat the fish. At the same time, the entrepreneur should also not sell any dead fish produced in his farm due to disease to consumers or for consumption purpose. If he do adhere to this, he is leading by example. And this is the point that I would like to highlight here. Besides that, it is also very crucial to establish a code of conduct in any business organization, as this is a formal statement that states an organization's values on certain ethical and social issues. It's not only important to come up with this code of conduct, it is also very important that this organization comply to their own respective code of conducts. So, based on the example that I gave to you just now, regarding the aquaculturists, I would say that any businesses today should adhere or conform, no, not this one. Based on the example of the aquaculture venture that I mentioned just now, I would say that businesses today should adhere or conform to business ethics for their own good and form their own code of conduct. Saying is easier than done. To implement this though, we must study the business's ethical environment first. Perhaps these important elements or important features that I mentioned to you all earlier on, towards establishing a strong organization, a healthy organization, may not be known to many personnel yet. Perhaps there are many who would like to embed ethics in their own respective organization, but are not trained to do so. Therefore, training is essential to be provided to staffs of any agribusiness firms, including those personnel from the top management, on ethical values as an eye-opener to these values. My dear students, there are lots of payoffs in embedding a strong ethical culture in an agribusiness organization. Firstly, it decreases vulnerability of the organization itself. If it is a young company, it will gain quick trust among consumers and customers. This will eventually improve customer loyalty to the company, and they will keep coming back without hesitation. The good and healthy work environment will also be a good place to work with. It creates waves of happiness among employees, and this will definitely improve their commitment to their respective company. Another spillover to the payoffs is that it improves brand reputation. Consumers trust in the product brand as it doesn't jeopardize any negative impacts towards consumers. In other words, the brand is consumer friendly. I'm sure you agree with me when I say that investors look for reputable organization with good ethics. Many will be willing to offer source of capital and even further investment in the business. Lastly, the payoff will be the company can avoid any potential fines as the records are clean and well in place. In the business world, there are some businesses that bloom and some do fail. And there are also moments where mistakes are done or been made by these respective companies or businesses. Therefore, entrepreneurs must protect their businesses as that is their right to do so. So what do? Get an attorney early. When do you get them? They should get them during the development of the business venture itself. It is important for them to make sure that during this takeoff or start off, they have the attorney with them. Why is it so? It is important for any appointed attorney to familiarize himself or herself, not this one. Why is it so? Not this one. Why is it important? It is important because it is critically important for these attorneys to familiarize himself or herself with any rising issues with the organization. What the attorney should do? The attorney should protect the intellectual property of that organization. The properties are like patents, trademarks, copyrights, and also trade secrets. That is their job to protect those properties that belong to that organization. So this is a protective measure to ensure that businesses are operated on the right track. I've mentioned earlier the importance of employing or getting an attorney during the start of any business. Then how do you choose an attorney? First, please contact or you must contact any local bar association and ask for a list of attorneys that's available in the market. Secondly, call them, interview them. Interview those several attorneys which you think, after getting the list of attorneys, you should interview these attorneys that you had selected. And the attorney that you had selected should start his or her work immediately. The appointed attorney should familiarize himself or herself with the business process and make sure you find an attorney who can help to raise money for your new venture. You need her help or his help to do so. Please ensure that your attorney of your choice has a good track record in completing work on time. Please do remember, as an entrepreneur, nothing comes free. So you have to sit down with the attorney and discuss his or her fees with you and agree on that fees. Please make sure that the attorney of your choice understands you and understands your business well. However, it is also important you learn as much as you can on the processes of starting the business by yourself because it can save you at the end of the day. There are many conflicts highlighted if we face legal disputes. Therefore, please avoid any legal disputes if possible. I mentioned legal disputes earlier on. Okay? So, what is legal dispute? It is actually a result of misunderstanding and also lack of knowledge of the law. Please, again, I would like to remind you students that it is important to avoid this if possible. There are several steps that an entrepreneur can take to avoid legal disputes. There are 1. Meet all contractual obligations. Secondly, avoid undercapitalization. Third, get everything into writing. Fourth, set your standards. Being nice is important, but it is not wise not to have any business agreement in writing. As an entrepreneur, you must insist on written agreements even when he or she is a family member or he or she is your own buddy. Writing will definitely eliminate legal disputes and avoid misunderstandings. We came to the end of this chapter today. Let me just wrap up the important points that you must remember in ethics and legal foundation in organization. It is important for any entrepreneur to lead by example in their own respective organization. Organization should also prepare their own respective code of conduct and should abide by that code of conduct done for their organization. Third, please make sure that you train your personnel because it is important to let them understand the root of embedding ethics in their organization and positive spillovers effects that will follow up later. Engage a new attorney. He or she must be well experienced and knows how organization works. Avoid any legal disputes by putting everything into writing. Make your business's decisions legal. For this, I would like to thank you for your kind attention and would like to wish you a happy day. Thank you.